The world has gone crazy. What do we do? I guess all we can do is listen to the Alpough show, the human spirit experiment. He'll help us. He'll know what to do. And welcome to Alpough, the Alpough show. It's Tuesday night. Thank you all for coming in. Who's coming in now? Who's going to be coming in a little bit later? And I really appreciate you coming in. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Before we even get started here, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to subscribe to my channel and smash that bell button for me so that you can be reminded when my shows come out. I really appreciate that. We are approaching 4,000 subscribers. We've been on air since April 1st of last year, and we're looking forward to doing more. Today, we're going to have to get the scowl off, take our head out of the sand, and figure out a way that we're going to be able to do what. Because today, we're talking about listening has been forgotten. Just a few, one other announcement. I just finished my 13 weeks of P90X. Lost a good 15 pounds. Looking forward to doing it again. This is my rest week, and then I'm going to start right back up. And I really want to encourage everyone to be doing some exercise. Something. This is more now than ever. We need to get our health together, work that stress off, build up our immune system. So let's start the clock. So listening has been forgotten, and yes, it has. We're literally in what I would call a listening epidemic, where there's a division going on here. And where do we meet? Well, where we start is by listening. That's the start. If we can't listen to each other, then what are we going to do? Right? What are we going to do? The definition of listening. To listen is to give attention to sound or action. When listening, one is hearing what others are saying and trying to understand what this person means. The act of listening involves complex, affective, cognitive, and behavioral processes, meaning it takes something within. You have to have your mental stabilities together. Because of, if there's one thing missing in all of this, is we're not listening to each other. It's one side or the other, woke, awake, asleep, don't give a crap. But what is the importance of listening? To listen, we need to make a conscious effort not to just hear what people are saying, but to take it in, digest it, and understand. Not only does listening enhance your ability to understand better and make you a better communicator, it also makes the experience of speaking to you more enjoyable to other people. Now, everyone, whether you're on one side or the other, where you don't listen to other people or whether you listen to people, there's a dynamic that's going on. And so let's just go over what I would consider some main causes. The main causes is the mainstream media. The mainstream media is now a propagandist media now. And it consists of politics, Competition meaning ratings. It doesn't matter. They don't care what we think as long as we're watching and we buy their products. Number 4, there's new identities that are coming different, new identities. And it has to do with sex, okay? All these 51 different binary definitions. I don't know the whole thing here. But good old sex, man. Good old sex. Always the big divider. And then also we have the internet. And the internet is full of everything. But I think one of the main reasons what's going on with the internet is this censorship. Obviously, the censorship is leaning one way. Okay, one way. Now, if you've been on this earth for a while, you can see now that freedom of speech is now freedom with censorship, meaning that in censorship, your freedom is shrinking, constantly shrinking. Thank you for someone coming in. Appreciate you coming in. I'm from my next door, Maricopa Easy Living. Thank you so much. So this censorship is leading on both sides this feeling of disrespected. When you don't feel that you're respected, or you're feeling disrespected, and it's on a constant by having your conversation cut off, by this never being able to get a point in. This number 10, anger and hostility. I see it everywhere. It's even in my town now. I live in a small city, Maricopa, and you can see everybody going after each other. It's kind of ridiculous. It doesn't get anybody anywhere. But even, local and as well as national and international. So we're going to have what I call some listening rules, okay? And one way I think here's an example of not to do it. So that's a way that I think I would say that's an example of how not to do it. Okay. I'm having some technical difficulties. Here we go. So when we're screaming at each other, who's listening? Okay. If you're going to scream to get your point across, it doesn't do any good on both sides, by the way. Yeah, I know I keep saying both sides, but listen, there's many sides, you know, there's just so much many sides, and this whole thing is causing an anger and hostility. So just one little thing here. I'm going to get into the listening rules. Number 1, be a professional listener. Be a professional listener. That means you're going to listen to every single word that a person says. Okay, what they're saying, even if, it's not a subject. Okay, so if you're a professional listener and you know that you're going to be getting in a heated discussion where you already know that this is coming into a heated discussion, and you want to put up the rules. Okay, and maybe the number one rule here is to agree to disagree. We're not going to come to a complete conclusion on anything here tonight, but what we want to do is just to hear each other. This is more about family, because the family is what's being destroyed in this whole process. The division is caused within the family. And so it begins there with the family. It begins there with your significant other, with your friends. We're all in a mixed bowl now of like spaghetti, and it's hard to find your way to find the one spaghetti. The next one is to agree to keep your emotions in check. Everyone is emotional stressed right now just simply because of the way the world is right now. We come out of a pandemic, and now we're in a war. It's international. It's interesting how the whole world now in the last, going into our third year, the whole world is involved in everything now. The pandemic brought about a world. We were wondering what was going on with somebody at the bottom of Brazil, to someone in Taiwan, to someone in China, in Australia, Europe, all over the world. The pandemic, what it did was it made us on a single platform. And all of our emotions were all out there and still are, because of all the rumors that it's coming back, and now there's a fourth one that you're supposed to take. Okay, so when by keeping your emotions in check, it takes your emotions out of it, and then the next rule is to stick to the subject. Stick to the subject. All right, and the worst thing you can do is attack the person's character. Attacking the person's character does not do anything. If you're in the middle of a debate about whether or not we should go to Ukraine, and you tell the person they're a jerk, then where is that going to get you? That's not going to get you anywhere. So do not attack the person. Don't attack the person. Stick to the subject and keep your emotions in check. And then on each part of the subject that you're talking about, you can say, well, I'm going to agree to disagree with you. I'm going to agree to disagree with you. And by not saying, I don't care, that's dumb. That's not okay. Attacking the person's character, or the person in particular, is not doing any good. Okay. Number, what was that? Okay, we're at 7. Pay full attention. Remember, this takes complex, affective, cognitive, and behavioral process. You have to keep yourself together. It takes something to be a professional listener. It really does. It's a sign of growth. It's a sign of even spiritual growth, which is what we are here about this channel. Spirit, mind, body, soul, thought, being an adult, understanding you're an adult. We're all then an adult. Okay. So paying full attention gives that. And how do you do that? By showing that you're listening through body language and gestures. Gestures. If you're sitting there, rolling your eyes, not giving the person attention, why would you expect them to give it to you? Why? It's by becoming a professional listener. And when as I came into my own, one of the things that always brings up to anyone, if you want to come into your own, if you want to deal with your trauma, then you have to be honest and go through some things to understand. And being a professional listener is a good thing. It's a good thing. And by showing listening. Now, you've already said, hey, man, we're not going to agree with everything. But you know what? We might just find a couple of points where we can. And then we go from there. Because all of us have been through trauma. We've all been through trauma. Here we're going on the third years. But your own personal trauma, what you've been going through. No one knows each other's bills. No one knows the bills that we paid today and we couldn't pay. No one knows how someone is feeling deep down. The only way you can know this is by someone telling you and you giving them your full attention. Otherwise, a person does not want to, reveal themselves to you. So giving good body language, it means everything. It means everything. Saying, I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening. Now, one of the things here that I do, if you're with someone and they're not a good listener, okay, they're not there. They're already, you said duh, and now they want to respond to it. And so part of setting up the rules is somewhat what I would call, I'm going to skip to this all the way down here, so a time limit, because it kind of works together. A time limit. Okay, Fred, I just listened to you for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And I'm telling you, this is a guaranteed work. This is guaranteed to work for you. Okay, you're going to talk, and I'm going to put you on the clock. And then we'll finish. Okay, so Fred, you just talked for 10 minutes. Did I interrupt you once? No. Okay. Did it seem like I was focused on listening to what you had to say? Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you that when I talk, that you avoid interrupting me. Avoid interrupting. This is a rule. You let the person speak. And it's a contract that you make just in the course of this conversation, where you're going to give them this space to speak. And then they give you the opportunity to speak. This has helped more people that I know. When you put them on a clock and you say, I just listened to you for 5 minutes and I didn't interrupt you. May I speak without interruption? And you make the contract with them. Okay? You make a contract. This not only helps you, but it also helps the other person. So you haven't even agreed to agree on anything or disagree or whatever. But what you've done though, is if you agree to listen to each other. And responding in an appropriate manner. Okay, again, we come back to where we take it keeps our emotions in check, okay, by responding appropriate, okay? Now, here's another rule. Be open to learn, okay? If this is another thing I say when I'm mentoring people. If you're with someone and they trigger you, there's one or two things that's going to happen here. You're either going to help them, or they're going to teach you. So you're teaching them a lesson, or they're teaching you a lesson. And if you have to decide. If your emotions get out of check, it must mean you're being confronted on some type of trauma within yourself that you haven't dealt with. See, we're all of us under trauma. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder. That's all what we're all under right now. Some call it PTSD. But since all of us are complex, it's been added on because we're all complex. So the most important thing is that open to learn. You just never know. There might be that one kernel, that one gold nugget that this person shared with you that you didn't even know. And understanding each other, of learning with each other. This is all part in this time limit thing. Okay, the time limit will serve you well. Now, after the person speaks, after anyone speaks, you don't have to respond immediately. This is what happens with people that they're not listening. They don't listen. Okay. Now, if someone gives me a 10-minute rant, okay, or 5 minutes, because I will time it. I will time it. That way, see, then they know that I am paying full attention. I am listening. I'm avoiding interruptions. I am listening. And I mean that. I'm listening. So when I'm going to respond, I'm going to respond in an appropriate manner, but I'm going to be slow to respond. Hold on just a second. Give me just a second to mull over this for a second, okay? I heard you, you can review on what was said, okay? You're preparing your response. You don't have to be fast to respond. When you're really listening, that person will really appreciate it. This is why people don't listen. People don't listen because of there's a flaw in their own character. And it's true. It's a flaw in the character of not listening. It's a sign of weakness because that person's life, they probably was not listened to. They may have come from a big family where you got he who yells the loudest gets heard. So, respond, slow to respond is okay. It's okay to take a moment and go, you gave me a lot to chew on. Okay. Now, finally, yours shows respect by listening. When people say, I don't get no respect, nobody respects me. Okay. How you give someone immediate respect is by listening. by listening. I am listening to every word you said, Tammy. Okay? There's not much I can do about it, but listening to you lets you know I love you. Or I agree with you on this. I'd like to have a different, open more discussion about this one thing that you were talking about. Would you mind elaborating on that? Or would you please listen to my response? I would really appreciate it. See, simple, 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 simple. This is what Mother's always teaching us, is to keep it simple. Life is complicated, but we don't have to make it complex. We can break every moment, every sentence down into its simplest form. And listening, first and foremost, shows respect. It doesn't mean you have to listen. See? It doesn't mean that. Showing respect is a form of love. Showing respect is a form of compassion. And that's what we're supposed to be doing here. Please take these simple views, these simple ways, and have it change the course of your life, whether you're not on one side or the other. If you're not a good listener, everyone could work on it. I'm always working on it. It is a practice. Practice showing respect. Also, listening means you have respect for yourself. It means that you're valuable. You are valuable. When someone's listening to you, they're giving you value by listening to your words. We are defined by decisions. We are defined by the thoughts in our brain that makes decisions that we decide on. Because at the end of the day, we're all on a bunch of decisions. So please make that decision to listen to your fellow man and woman. Show respect for that. If we can come to there, then all these hard things we'll be able to make it through. Because we respect ourselves. Again, see, another thing would be the reason why somebody doesn't listen is because they don't listen to themselves. They would rather hear their mouth speak it than go within, because a lot of that will cause trauma. And we're all dealing with trauma. So, tomorrow, I have, let me see. Well, I'm having Heteru on, and she's doing her 7-part series on chakras. And so tomorrow, here we go. There she is, Heteru. We're going to be here tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the chakras, and we're on the 7th chakra, crown. Wait a second. Yes, we're on the crown of the head chakra, and we're really looking forward to that as we go into Heteru's chamber tomorrow. Thank you all so much for taking this time. Those who stuck with me here, I really appreciate you. Please do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. And if you could, please put a comment in, but get that stamp on that bell so you get to receive the notifications on when I'm coming on. Okay? So until next time, it's the Alpough Show, the Human Spirit Experiment.